My name is Sam and I bought this house using somebody else's money, then made 65 grand. Let's head inside and check out this rehab. The crew absolutely crushed this one. And when we're in there, I'm gonna talk about how we found this deal and how as a beginner, you can find deals like this. Let's go inside. We got this deal from a local wholesaler. We actually buy about 50 houses a year from local wholesalers. So let's talk about our top 2 lead sources that are free, because you're probably not gonna wanna spend a ton of money on marketing, especially at first. I always say if you're looking to buy 10 deals or less a year, don't spend $1 on marketing, spend your time networking and contacting the people that are gonna find the deals. So local wholesalers should probably be the first place you look. Who are wholesalers? Wholesalers are people that spend their time and energy all day, every day, or on the side finding discounted properties. They send direct mail, they knock on doors, they drive for dollars. They do all the hard work and they find those distressed properties, because you're not gonna make money on a house that's in retail ready condition. You have to find distressed houses so you can add value. The wholesalers are definitely where you wanna start to look to find deals. You can find wholesalers pretty easily, actually. Simply just go to your local real estate investing Facebook groups and see who the wholesalers there that are shopping deals and kind of like connect with them. You know those little signs you see on the side of the road, those bandit signs that say "We buy houses"? Those are all wholesalers. So take a picture of those signs if you're not driving and call them or text them and get on their buyers list. But more importantly, you need to go out and meet these people and make connections. So go to your local real estate investing meetup groups and talk to local wholesalers. We have one here in St. Louis called Buyers Club, and every single month at least 50 or 60 wholesalers come and meet. We have about 200 to 300 people every single time, but wholesalers are a big part of that. People are doing deals and connecting and interacting and drinking and hanging out and having fun and becoming friends. And if your friends are your wholesalers, you'll find a lot of different deals. While you're looking for wholesalers, you're probably gonna come across a lot of real estate agents. So they're another great source. Similar to wholesalers, they're in and out of houses all the time. And if there's a distressed house that they come across, they're gonna want someone to sell it to. They're gonna want somebody to hit that easy button for them that will buy that distressed house that would be a pain in the butt for them to sell. So wholesalers and real estate agents should be your number 1 and number 2 place to find deals like this one. Now let's talk about funding the deal, because if you can find these few funding sources that I'm gonna talk about, you'll be able to pretty much buy whatever you want without using any of your own money. And I know that may sound a little hyperbolic, but it's true. Just getting a good private money lender and a hard money lender can change your entire real estate investing career. At the end, when we recap all the numbers and I go over the budget, I'm gonna show you a couple tips and tricks that we specifically did in this rehab that saved us tens of thousands of dollars. And they're nothing fancy. They're actually getting creative, and they're things that you can do to save money on your rehab. Now, you do need money to invest in real estate. It just doesn't have to be your money. The first option is hard money lenders. Now, these are companies that are in business to lend money to new real estate investors. They don't only lend to experienced real estate investors. They want to grow and they want to make more money because that's what they're in business to do. Banks will not lend on distressed properties. They will not lend rehab funds. So there's this gap in how do you buy properties without using your own money if you're not using bank money? And that's where hard money lending businesses started up, and that's where they live and breathe. And they want to grow, so they want to work with brand new real estate investors. They want to be found. So how do you find them? Well, you can simply just Google hard money lenders near me. A ton of them will pop up. You know those meetups that I talked about earlier that you need to be going to? There are probably several hard money lenders at every single meetup that have business cards and that want to get your business, and they want to buy you a drink, get to know you a little bit, and so they can hopefully end up getting your business. Now, they are a little bit more expensive than the next source I'm going to talk about, but that's not really the end of the world. You can't look at it as that. Borrowing money does cost money to actually do it. You cannot do it for free. You're going to have to pay interest on top of what you borrowed, whoever you're borrowing the money from. But hard money lenders are usually a little bit more expensive. They're probably going to run your credit score. They're probably going to want you to be a little more buttoned up. They're going to look at your income. They're just going to need to know a little bit more about you than the next source we're going to talk about. The benefit of hard money lenders, though, is they're a second set of eyes. They're not just going to blindly lend you money. They're going to underwrite the deal themselves. They're probably going to want to meet you out there to confirm the rehab funds. So they're going to take a hard look at the deal. And if they're willing to lend you money, that means it's probably a good deal. Now, they usually will not lend you 100% of purchase and rehab at first. Eventually, maybe they will, but usually not at first. So you're probably gonna have to use a little bit of your own money, or the next source I'm gonna talk about, you can intertwine the two. This next lending source I specifically saved for second because it is the creme de la creme of lending and borrowing money, and that's private money lenders. Now, when I say that, you may think of like maybe the mafia or a rich aunt or rich parent. That is never, if very seldom, the case. Definitely not the mafia part, but usually not the rich parent part either, or rich relative. Private money lenders are just people that have a little bit of extra money that want to invest in you, and they believe in real estate as an investment. They just want to diversify whatever money they have, whether it be borrow against their 401k or use a self-directed IRA. It's not people with millions of dollars in the bank. It's somebody that just has a little bit of extra money, usually a hard-working professional that's been in their field for maybe 15, 20, 25 years, something like that, and they have an extra 50 grand that they're willing to diversify to lend to you, that you can use with a hard money lender that they may want some money out of pocket, or that you can use to make the monthly payments with your hard money lender, or that you can use for the rehab, or if you build enough of a relationship and they have enough money, they can lend you the entire purchase plus rehab. Now, these people are awesome because they trust you and they believe in real estate. The transaction is very relational. They know you or have heard of you, or they have some type of connection with you. I talk to my students about this all the time, and you usually get that eye roll that you probably did when I told you about hard money lenders, thinking that you don't know any. But after a few months or even a few weeks of effort, you will be able to find a private money lender. So you can use your own money and make 60 grand, or you can use somebody else's money and make 50 grand. It's either 50 or 0 is how most people look at it. All right, let's head to the kitchen now, check that out, and then we're gonna talk about some numbers and give you some tips and tricks to save money on your next rehab or your first rehab. All right, let's talk about this specific deal and how we funded it and how the numbers break down. Then we'll get into those tips. So we ended up buying this, like I said, from a local wholesaler for $195,000. He actually had it under contract for 175 grand, so he made 20 grand. We're okay with that. I love that he made money, and we were able to make money as well. So we bought it for 195,000 and it needed $55,000 in rehab. So we borrowed $250,000 from a private money lender. He gave us a check for $250,000. We used that check to buy it and to fix it up. So at the end of the day, we had right at $250,000 in this deal, and we sold it for 350 grand. So here are the costs that come out of every single deal besides just your purchase and your rehab. So when you watch those HGTV shows, they just go over simple math, simple numbers. They don't tell you the actual hard costs that go into buying and selling real estate. So we're gonna go over those now. We had $250,000 in the deal. We sold it for 350 grand. So we had $100,000 gross profit. Now let's get to the actual $65,000 in net profit. We had $15,000 in holding costs, paying utilities, insurance, as well as paying our private lender their money plus interest. So that interest plus holding costs cost about $15,000. We also had about $20,000 in closing costs. A little bit of title work fee in there, not a ton. It costs about 6% of your deal to sell the house. Usually 3% on the buyer side and 3% on the seller side. And then a few inspection item fixes, so that was about 20 grand. So if you followed along and did the math or followed along on the screen, that's how we got to $65,000. Our gross profit was 100, but we ended up netting 65 grand, which is not a bad payday for not using any of our own money. All right, let's talk about some tips and some things we did on this rehab to save a lot of money. One of the main things we did was this kitchen did not have luxury vinyl plank. The rest of the house, this was already in here and it was in great shape, but the bedrooms had luxury vinyl plank that matched the rest of the house. The kitchen did not. It had some weird looking tile down here. So what we did was we took the LVP out of the bedrooms and put carpet in there, because most people like carpet in their bedrooms anyway, and we reused that. Yes, it saved money, but it also allowed us to match it exactly. Trying to find materials exactly like something that was a few years old, pretty hard to do. There's wear and tear and aging and color matching that's kind of tough. So we're able to use the bedroom LVP, luxury vinyl plank, and bring that in the kitchen, so when you walk in, you get one flooring throughout the entire house besides the bedrooms. Most people want carpet in their bedrooms anyway. That probably saved us about $5,000 to $7,000. Now, as you can see, this is a little bit higher than usual. There's actually electric running through right here. So rather than ripping that out, moving the electric, having that all additional expense, we just bumped this up a little bit, and I don't think anyone will know or care. So we ended up doing that in this bathroom because there's electric here. And you'll see in the master bathroom, there's not electric running right here, but we wanted to match and look the same and have the same stripes. So we did that in both bathrooms. That didn't save us a ton of time and money, probably Probably saved us maybe $1,000, $2,000, but it all adds up. So this deck was a little bit of a mess when we bought it, but the footings and kind of these beams were all good. It was connected to the house properly, so rather than tear the entire deck down, because there were some good parts about it, we ended up just splicing wood in where it was needed. As you can see at the top, a little bit of resurfacing, top of the railings, and down here, we just replaced pieces that were needed to be replaced. So it saved us, because wood's not very cheap, it probably saved us about $1,000, $2,000 in material, and probably saved us a couple more $1,000 in actually labor, not having to tear the entire thing down, pour new footings and do all that. So we just kind of spliced it together, but it still looks great, passed inspection, structurally sound, really good. If you're still watching, give this video a like and comment with what you thought about this rehab. Check out this video over here where I walk through an actual rental rehab so you can see one of those as well. See you in the next one.